Okay, this should be coming through. Just check. Yes, it says my connection is excellent. Currently, I have no drop frames. That's probably going to change like last time. Anyway, hello, or something like that. Yeah, I need to pause it on here so it's not using up all my bandwidth. And somehow OBS still has no drop frames. I mean, I do work this PC quite hard. It's still a processor from 2017, or I think in my case 2018, as 9th gen was out and I bought an 8th gen cheap. But yes, I've had this, actually had this board since new, and I've had it for a long while. And I also need to tweak these eyes because, as you'll see, yes, my kind of hidden line art is just not quite working. The eyes don't have a huge amount of life to them, which irritates me. I think, do they need to be more to the middle? I don't know. I'm not even holding that. I don't know anyway what I'm doing. I don't know how to art. Yeah, so I think I need to try and grab this. Like, the center of the eye isn't actually black. It's just a very, very dark green because that's how I'm running it. It's like 40, you'll see on just the RGB selector, bottom right of the display. So that's how that is. You see, this is kind of awkward. Why do I feel like I'm looking at olives? It's that shape, isn't it? Didn't think of that last time. In other words, in other news, we have Taco Agnatha. Totally not Taco Luca. I worked on this a little, so there is a tin of surströmming. Naturally, because, well, we know this character is absolutely addicted to surströmming, so her little mascot would also be addicted to surströmming. It's also kind of a parody of Taco Luca in that regard, because Taco Luca, I think the whole thing is, like, likes tuna. And yeah, there's another kind of fish. Surströmming, it smells a lot worse than tuna. I also have my hand in a very strange position, just hanging out there. You see, this is what I can do, though. Like, the joys of reference layers. There we go. You see, this line art is just hidden. Just how I want it. So you wouldn't look at these eyes and go, there's line art there immediately. But there is line art. Yeah. I also haven't enabled the music. There we go. All the best music from my era. I don't know. This is video game music, definitely. Some of the Gran Turismo series, which I played a lot in my past. Just one of those things that like relaxes you. I don't know what kind of mind games they're using, but it does make you relaxed. Makes me relax, at least. Which is something. Maybe if I didn't have this really crazy all over the place voice, it wouldn't be such a problem. I'll probably activate the flight or fight response with my voice, to be honest. I am using the mouse. I probably shouldn't use the mouse for the colouring process, but I use the mouse a lot. Oh dear, I overran it. I really think I would be better off with a pen. It's just more precise. I do, if I'm using like airbrush or the soft eraser, which is actually an alternative to the airbrush. If you want to kind of eat for vector lines, because I can't seem to get like the soft airbrush thingy to kind of do that. But you can use a soft eraser and it sticks within the lines. A little trick I found. Yes, this signature is really bad. I don't even remember how long ago I did it, but it's a signature. Just focus on it. Yes, AI, forge my signature. Then I have legal standing against you. Tried to give it an OO face. I didn't do so well at it, but you know, I tried. I need to try and actually find a reference image for Taco Luca to find out what it is. Yes, I have DQ35CB is it on my monitor because that's all of the stuff I read about, or motherboards and stuff. Taco Luca. Oh no, someone's done a slightly horrifying looking one. Oh. Someone's put legs on Taco Luca. Oh no. That is just really scary. Yes. This is not Taco Luca though. It's inspired by Taco Luca, my queen, but it is not Taco Luca. So, can't read YouTube chat at the moment, which is mildly irritating because I happen to be using that monitor in a very inefficient way. You see, okay, from what I'm seeing here, I've actually put them far too much backwards. They're supposed to be like headphones, but they're hanging off the back of a head and I'm just not thinking it through properly. Also, it seems like they just go out at the top. So I think just moving all this forward, I'm basically getting where I need to go. I mean, it does look better. It does look more natural, for lack of a better term, to have it there. So I think this is the one I want, yeah. The stream's bitrate is lower than recommended. Yes, I get it. I have terrible internet, but I'm not dropping frames, which is something. I think his eyes are okay for now. I tried to make the centre smaller because I love detailing the eyes. But they don't look as good now. I mean, I put so much work into getting them shaped correctly. That is also not white. That is actually an RGB for eye white. And, I mean, I think the skin tone looks a little off. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I need to redo that because it just doesn't quite look natural. But then I've got to reposition the hands. Hands are kind of tricky. Now, she has to be holding Taco Luca, so... Not Taco Agnatha. So, how I'm going to go about this, I really don't know. Basically, if I find my reference again, the hair kind of becomes the tentacles. It's a little odd. Yes. I think we have to do this. Why am I thinking of that Hot Wheels PC? My mind goes to weird places. Like that Hot Wheels PC that was kind of a flop. It had a CRT though, so it's forgiven. I have a CRT. I have 3 CRTs. All of them HD, or capable of HD, although I wouldn't the smaller curved one at 1024 by 768 because the refresh rate is just a lot better there, a lot less flickery. And you know, the objective of a CRT is never absolute resolution. You buy them for other reasons. They're very good for playing older games and stuff. Or just things that don't have the resolution. At the same time, OLEDs are nice. Like I have an OLED on this setup. Obviously not the newest or most advanced OLED, but an OLED no less. I kind of want a Taco Luca plush if I'm honest. Is this like a detailed image of all the different angles? That's actually pretty useful. I can use it. I don't know about these headphones. Okay, I think I can see. I think I can get what I need to get. So, supposed to be looking that way, kind of. Hopefully, I can somewhat do it. I feel like maybe I should dint the surströmming tin in like it's been bitten because little Taco Agnatha is biting the tin of surströmming, trying to get the fish out of it. but it's literally in a tin. So the best you can do is like bend the tin inwards. I feel like if I rounded this maybe just a little, not obviously not to like an extreme measure or anything, but I mean what I'm thinking, just kind of try and act like it's got curvature that matches the overall curvature of the head. This hairstyle is not what I'm used to drawing though, but that's how the character was always set up to be. And I mean, I haven't drawn so good in the past. Like, only now do I notice what I was making just 1 year ago is just not good for quality at all. This is a slightly older piece, yes, but kind of the foundation of what I do now is here, and I can work on it. The line art is very big. I believe I mentioned before, it's because I was doing it on the Samsung tablet, the 8-inch one now from 2020. So, not the newest of tablets. And that had the resolution set to 5,000 by 4,000 as I recall, and then I resized it to this size, and what was maybe decent line art for that res ended up being massive. But so I just kept it. I kept running with it. And I'm not going to change it now because it would require too much fine tuning of a certain vector points. I believe maybe if I add just some more points around this, I can make it look a little less jarring of an angle. That seems to be working. It's far from perfect, but you know, it's more functional than it was. More serviceable than it was. So, just looking at the perspective of the piece, I do think maybe if I raise that up, maybe if I move this. I mean, I've been trying to get these headphones working. I think pivot those. I remember last time I ended up trying to guess which Gran Turismo these were from. This sounds like something that's still on Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo 7. I confuse it with Gran Turismo 6. Yes, that's not something you want to do. Let's see. This is Gran Turismo 6. I totally meant to say this song was from Gran Turismo 6. Yeah, back when I was younger playing these games, it was quite something. I had some fun with them. Despite its problems, I think Gran Turismo 6 holds up quite well. Gran Turismo 5, the menus took a long time to do anything. I heard, well, I saw what was going on was they basically built an entire operating system like on top of a PlayStation 3 one, and that was what Gran Turismo was running within. Add to the fact they did not have SSDs unless you upgraded, like I later did with my PlayStation 3, and it's got mine's got I think a 120 SSD, 120GB SSD. It came with a 160GB hard drive. In and of itself, not awful for storage on that era of console, but it was 5400 RPM. It was not fast, especially when you've got one drive. You're not just running the operating system, you're running the operating system, you're running like all the folder managers and all that, you're running the game, you're loading in all the assets for the game. Yeah, you're like asking a lot of just a slower laptop hard drive. Another random fact, Apple iMac hard drives got slower after the very early Core 2 Duo models because they used full desktop drives at 7200 RPM in the early machines, and of the early 2000s to mid 2000s. Then they moved to laptop drives which were 5400. So in some ways the newer machines were actually slower. They made them have fancy metal cases and everything, but yes, on one very important element, they made them worse. And that was pre-SSDs, we're talking, like 2007. So, you know, SSDs came out first in 2008, and man, they were expensive. You were getting only 64GB as well, so they were not large. Consider back in that time, I'm pretty sure you could quite easily get a 250 or 320 gigabyte hard drive. Yes, indeed, they were not big. I feel like actually just looking at this is this one piece that would make it easier. Yeah, like I feel this needs to just go higher up in order to work. The tin of Surströmming though. I can actually make this work, I think. Because we know the tin of Surströmming, it's like this certain shape. If I have this kind of like flops down and grips it, that would actually make sense. Yeah, I think the anatomy would work. I don't know, it's not something I normally draw. Taco Luca is probably the closest I've drawn. Because I like Taco Luca. It's just that it's that balance of like derpy and cute all at the same time. Some people do find it nightmare fuel though. I mean, I feel like anything can be turned into nightmare fuel. Wasn't that like the entire point of Baldi's Basics? It was one of those, it was parodying one of those education games. And it was supposed to be like some kind of scary, light horror game. I think after this music, I don't know, because I thought of going to Sims music, but then everybody plays Sims music. There's also Forza Motorsport, but I don't think that's as relaxing as Gran Turismo music. I mean, I'll have to see what there is around. But yeah, this is Gran Turismo music. What are they going to do? Copyright strike everybody who plays Gran Turismo on YouTube. I don't think Moon Over Castle is on this, but that is a very good like theme tune. And I'm not playing Nintendo music. I know how Nintendo can be. I don't know if they've changed their stance since, but at one point they were like, oh, we're taking half your profit if you stream a Nintendo game. And yeah, not exactly ideal. I know there was some backlash then though. I don't remember the whole way things played out with that. But I can remember that the DQ35 only has 4 SATA ports, so I guess I do know some useless stuff. It's probably because that Nintendo information could actually be kind of useful that my mind's like, no, you cannot remember this information on the off chance it actually is useful. So we've got Taco Luca on this display. That's someone's made like Luca and then they've made a tiny Taco Luca. Also, the eyes are not this big on a Taco Luca, but it's me, okay? I'm gonna give everything big eyes. Somehow I feel like these eyes are not even big enough for the character here, but I made them bigger, believe me, and I was like, no, those eyes are too big. This is just not working at all. I went too far. I think the head form is also another thing. Like, with Orella, when I've been drawing that, I did just make the overall head wider to fit the eyes. You see, my head is like that. My head isn't like that, but in a weird way, when I'm drawing, it actually just works. Yeah, this is a very good reference image, though. It actually shows it in quite some detail. I think you also have some sharper tentacles, but I like them being soft. I like my softened off edges. I also don't have a very much of a chin. It's just like a circle. Yeah. So I'm going to blame my flawed IRL anatomy for that. My eyes are also too small. I'm sure real humans don't have eyes this small. But I am definitely a normal human man who lives in the normal human world. Totally. I do remember this tune. Yeah, I think it was Gran Turismo 6. I think it's still on the same one, actually. No, Gran Turismo 5. I don't know. I always seem to be confusing Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. This is weirdly nostalgic. And it scares me. Gran Turismo 5, it still feels like a new game, and it was 15 years ago, almost. It was late 2010, so almost 15 years ago. So we've got Taco Luca. Okay, so the hair definitely goes around the back. Now, you may not see it in its entirety with the way things go, commonly. I'm thinking, actually, how does this work? Like this, maybe? No, that is not working very well. Although, now I'm thinking of it, yes. It didn't work that way, but it might work just being more sideways, like this. Naturally, it kind of comes off the hair in the Taco Luca reference image. I think, I don't know, there was something like this. It was from Gran Turismo 4 last time. Very similar, but it may have actually been Gran Turismo 5. Something says this is a Gran Turismo 5 remake of the Gran Turismo 4 music. I'm just going to check in a moment. See if my hunch is correct. And this is still Gran Turismo 4, okay. So, I always get it wrong. In fairness, I did say I thought it was like a remake of the Gran Turismo 4, remake whatever of the Gran Turismo 4 music, but yeah, this is not one of those. It's a Gran Turismo 4 song, tune, whatever. I guess it's not a song as it doesn't have lyrics. I don't know. It's not a fight I really want to have right now. My head's got this like instinct going off to check for rice, but it's in a rice cooker and it's got this computer and everything to tell it when it's done, so it's not really a concern. It's what I'll be eating after the stream. Should be a nice little meal. Might put some potato in with it. Because, you know, as I did it yesterday, I was able to get an hour and a half out of just drawing. Yeah, so 46, 46, 46. I explained the reasoning for that before. It's to do with the displays and LCDs not rendering absolute black and everything, so it works better to use a colour that's very dark but just not absolute black. Like, you initially look at this though, it's grey. By all technical means, this is grey, but you would look at it and immediately think black because it's close enough to black that it will work. I feel like LCDs though, it's not just not being able to render black, but it's like it just turns everything up a bit for brightness, and it just doesn't always work so well as you would hope. Okay, so even with this kind of softened off angle, the way I need it to be, I do need it to go kind of to a point, even if it's softened off. There we go. All this music just feels so nostalgic to me. Back in my day, we didn't have iPads. We just had the PlayStation 2. I feel like, yeah, 329 drop frames. Can we beat the near 500 dropped frames of last time, I wonder? Like, I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if it's the I don't know if it's just the internet going funny. I do have this little Wi-Fi USB dongle, I thought, you know, I was using China special ones before. I bought this TP-Link one. It's not the highest end in the world. Yeah, I'm just thinking it's showing on the other camera, on the like camera screen, but not the display on the PC because I cropped that. Yeah, it's just like, has it frozen? I don't know. So the mic is working. I'm going to try and change this on the fly because it looks like it's frozen in OBS. Hope I wasn't too slow to catch that. So we go deactivate, activate. There we go. Just deactivating and then activating it. That's all it needs. I don't know why it froze up though. Maybe it was me messing with the mice, but no, it was working after that. I really don't know. I'm not going to pretend I understand some things. Some things in this world I just cannot hope to understand, and that's the way things will remain. As much as it may irritate me, you just can't change everything. Some things are beyond my understanding, some things are beyond my control as well. You know, in the art world, I can control whatever I want because I'm the one creating it. Also, I might as well show this. Yeah, my very shiny Logitech mouse, which I'm now using. I think I mentioned I've got two of these, one for left, one for right. I'm not using the left one because of a key dial, but yeah, there's quite a bit of shininess there. It's even sliding out my hand. And then if we go here, there's a Logitech logo. This camera doesn't focus too well really close up, but I'll try my best to get that showing. Hopefully you can tell, even if it's a bit out of focus, that is a faded Logitech logo. Yeah, like on my face it's fine. I'm like this far away from the camera. If it's like that close, so try and justify it. Justify it. If it's that close, not that close. So wow. Also, because I'm obviously a VTuber, my mascot. Okay, it's reconnected. I did catch that. Like, I was showing my mascot, but I just noticed OBS disconnected. Apparently 0 frames dropped though since it's reconnected. Yeah, it's streaming fine. The issue with this, I had it go down on the old Core 2 Duo machine. Yes, CPU from 2008, if you know me well enough. Predating a lot of this music actually I've got on here. Probably looking at an hour and a half streaming today, as with yesterday, because that's just what I can fit in, and I can probably do this almost every day, to be honest. Not every day, obviously, but I can do it a lot of the time. Because this is like the time of day I have energy. And the time of the day I just feel I can stream. So even if it's not going to be a long stream, at least I can deliver a few of them. You know, I'm probably streaming at the same time. No, my look, I'm probably streaming at the same time someone a lot more entertaining than me is. But isn't that how it always goes? I can't pretend to be the best streamer in the world. Because I'll just get embarrassed if I try and claim that. It's bound to happen. That's why we have to control what we say very carefully. Although some people, even in a position of power, don't really control what they say. But that's a story for another day. I mean, I just find it's something I should be careful of. Especially since in the UK they literally made it illegal to insult anybody. I mean, I don't know how you enforce such a law effectively, but, you know, maybe it's just an excuse to attack people who don't agree with you and claim you're insulted. The other thing is, they actually have it written in law, freedom of speech doesn't exist in the UK. Like, that's actually written in the law. It's been there since the 1980s, I believe. I kind of like this, but I feel again I need to smoothen everything out. With me, I just don't like sharp angles so much. Go figure why I'm terrible at drawing men. I try. And I can do it occasionally, but it's like just the angles mess with me because I just don't do sharp angles that well. I did one picture of Norman, who is a man, and he was pretty okay, at least by my standards. But like, I basically took the reference image and I squared everything off a little, and that's how I did it. I didn't really pay much attention to the overall anatomy and why it's square. You see, it's just like, now I have a decent reference I can use. I'm inclined to think, just looking at this, I'm inclined to think maybe I should move this like back a little. And this should make sense. Just try and give it that look of like being bent around. Because it's going to be like a certain length, if that can be explained ever. I don't know, is this the music or something? I'm now thinking of widescreen flat CRTs circa 2008. Really a bygone era. They were actually pretty good though. Later CRT televisions, they were pretty good. And they weren't so much a thing in the UK, but there was definitely widescreen flat CRTs in the early 2000s mainly, I believe. And they were 1080p. Pretty incredible units, to be honest. There's one I know of that was in the UK, and it's this Samsung, and it's extremely hard to come by. And nowadays we have OLED televisions, which have far better upscaling and stuff than they used to. We're not in the dark days of LCD displays anymore, which was like, you bought an LCD display, say around the mid-2000s, it wouldn't have been that great compared to the CRTs of the era. Probably why CRTs held on for a little longer, because LCD technology just wasn't ready yet. Some of the really nice displays, I reckon, would still look good today, but the majority of them would not. I have to see, is this like Gran Turismo 5? No, it's Gran Turismo 6. Back in the day, I yearned for a CRT monitor. Hey, now I have a Diamond Pro. Literally my dream monitor of my youth. The Sony FW900, oh, that is something else. But I'm not paying $3,000 for an FW900. Okay, I don't feel like that should be flat like that, but if we are factoring in like maybe the hand is touching it there, that would like support it from that angle, and obviously it wouldn't be bent around as much. We're not talking like really stiff wire support or anything. It's supposed to kind of be natural, a little more flexible. I feel like this one shouldn't be larger though, but I don't know again. Maybe if I make this go up to kind of give the illusion there's like a force pushing underneath, but it's still got some girth to it, for lack of a better term. I don't even know where I got this idea. I think it's just like I had to do something more interesting with the arms. I like Taco Luca. Hey, why not make a version of that? And we have to remember, this character is basically the villain. She's the villain, but the main character, and the hero somehow manages to actually be so bad, he makes her look good. Because, like, that's the thing, she's not a good person. But when you start comparing her to Luke, well, go figure. She starts looking like this really model student, really, for lack of a better term again. I'm beginning to think I should put Hungry Beaks on the surströmming tin, because I've not said much about it, but the whole joke with Hungry Beaks, it's literally like the parody of Hunger Breaks, and they just make some really not nice, cheap tinned meals and stuff. So, you know, like, why not try and reference that without obviously getting sued? And it's like, it's become one of these things, like, whatever I write, it's going to be cross-dimensional in all the stories. I got some that are, like, on hold, and I need to finish them. For now, I'm just mainly focused on the one story, and perhaps a web novel as well, when I just get some extra time, or I don't feel like working on that. And then I will move back to the other ones, because I have, like, the foundation of good stories there, but, like, I just need to do a lot of editing. Any of the stories, including these two, need a lot of editing until I'm actually happy with them. Because I just don't want to put something out that's below my best, if that makes any kind of sense. I quite like that now. That looks like a certain physics to it. Yeah, OBS looks kind of low res. I think that's almost native res the way I've got it set up on that display. Almost, but I'm running low bitrate. And I'm running 1080p at 24 FPS because, well, 30 FPS is for those who actually have good internet. Like, I'm lucky if this downstreams 1440p as I'm pointing at it and you can't see me pointing at it. Anyway, what's this? That's just a piece of something. I mean, if we're looking at this, going like kind of towards the camera, I feel like I could have the overall, I could have it appear to get smaller, because then at that point it's kind of going away. So let's suppose the thickness is basically consistent. It would do this, definitely. It would like appear to kind of get pinched in from a just two-dimensional perspective. But still, yeah, just split like I don't need all these vector points. That's the one thing I'm getting at here. You see, I do like using the mouse for this stuff. I would love to get colour here, though. Naturally, it's going to be kind of a blue-green that's on the character's hair, Agnatha's hair. She actually has that name because she nicked the name from like the ABBA Agnatha. She just literally nicked the name because she obviously didn't want people to find out her real name. We don't even know her real name. As the reader of the story, nobody knows. Even I don't know. And I wrote the thing. She keeps her name so secret that I don't even know the name of my own character. At least her real name. And Luke is, well, Luke is called Luke, so I could just make the one Star Wars joke. Yes, I did that. It kind of works, though. Like, just in terms of this generic hero character, which he really is set up to be. He's set up to literally be a generic hero character without any real, mind of his own. It's a whole joke I'm running with. And there we go. Why does it look like she's giving someone the middle finger, even though it's like an octopus? Time to try and correct that. Maybe if I go and compress that down, it will look a bit more natural. Maybe stretch that out. I'm getting somewhere. There's so many vector points here. This is why I like using a line tool. Because it gives you only the bare minimum of vector points, and then you can add them in later as and when you need them. It's one of those things like, who draws with a vector? No, who draws with like the vector line tool? I draw with the vector line tool. Admittedly, I do typically have a not template, but I typically have a kind of sketch underneath, and I basically just improve the line art when I use the line tool. Without that, I couldn't do it. I couldn't just go haphazardly out with the line tool and kind of succeed. I may have done it with this. No, I didn't even. I used the regular vector pen. Just put my hand like that. Tablet is slightly warm, but not hot, so I can take that. I feel like, again, maybe I should pull this as being a bit flattening out. I mean, also, with any kind of physics, these are not going to just fall perfectly. Like, it doesn't have to be the most detailed physics in the world. I just have to get the idea that there's actually kind of momentum and movement here. Which, being living things, there would be. They're not like just floppy, meaningless stuff. I mean, I thought making it a plush, maybe it's a very sophisticated robotic plush, and that's why it moves. Taco Luca was AI all along. Taco Luca was just pretending to be cute. She's actually a machine. It's one of those things that, like, I can't possibly imagine these algorithms making something like Taco Luca. It's a very human thing. Agnatha Nero is another example, because that was basically designed as like the anti-Miku, designed at the time Miku disappeared from the internet in 2007. Well, Hatsune Miku, should I say, not Hatsune Miku, don't want to confuse the two. Yeah, so basically Hatsune Miku disappeared from the internet briefly, and I mean, I say that's an important event because it basically predicted the whole TikTok going off the internet thing, but that was in 2007. It predicted the whole event, though. The reaction of people, it was all the same. And what's scary is, it's just, it proves that the government can just snap their fingers and, like, information is gone. I think it was more to do with, like, anti-spam stuff on Google or Yahoo or whatever, but indeed, it does prove that just immediately we can have access to information taken away from us, and that's slightly scary. All my software is offline, so I could still draw. I have CDs, in fact. Let's just, let's find something. Well, this is a DVD, but there we go. I have entertainment. What else? Yes, my Linux distros. I actually have many Linux distros saved to my SSD. DVD rewritable, job done. Yes, I use DVD rewritables. I feel like sometimes I'm the only person left on earth who does it, but I use DVD rewritables and I use them a fair old amount. 11. Oh, I thought I was saying 11 concurrent viewers. No, it was saying 11, someone's viewed for like 0.11 seconds. Oh well, I got someone viewing me for a tiny amount of time. That is something to me. Ultimately, though, I like streaming because it kind of forces me to work on stuff. Like, that's it. Like, failing all else, I am forced to do stuff. The only issue is I don't want to stream Sakura and Aurello and even Norman because they're like for the book. And I don't want to get that stuff just thrown online where, you know, anything can scrape it without protecting it. This piece, well, yes, it's not protected, but it's like, it can only get so much of my style from this. The line art and everything, it's not how I do it now normally anyway. So, you know. I'm also so zoomed in the most part, but I don't want to take any chances with my other pieces because they are just too precious to me. So, you know, I'll stream some stuff, I'll show my process in general, but there's only so much I can do. Like, again, we've got this, so why not just have her, like, holding that on the edge of the tin? I feel like I can get some sense of dimension here, so we've got some pieces. Maybe if I just flip that around, also drag the canvas for some bizarre reason. I can actually use my key dial to zoom in. Yeah, key dial. I like calling it key dial. It sounds more sophisticated. I'm pretty sure it's just called the key dial, though. Apparently, I'm not using anti-aliasing on this. I don't know. It varies from piece to piece, I guess. It's like, Do I feel like using anti-aliasing in this particular case? Actually, I do. Or actually, I don't. I feel like maybe if I go down here, it'll give the effect of kind of going behind the other hair tentacle thing. It doesn't have to be like really detailed, because if we look, this tin is going to obstruct a certain amount of it anyway. Something about this. I think Gran Turismo 5? I'm going to check. I have to check. This is Gran Turismo 5. For once in my life, I was correct. I mean, I don't know. I feel like some music expert could recognise the difference. I am not a music expert. I just know what I like. I feel like with this, basically, I don't necessarily want to keep it going for the sake of actually using the line per se. I just want to keep it going because it will give me an idea. Split the line. I don't need the whole thing. There's so many vector points that I just don't need. But the idea being here, this will show me like approximately where it goes to, and then I can delete the extra points. Maybe if this, like, I'm thinking, how do I want to go about this? From what I'm seeing here, it's going to take a lot of deleting extra vector points. Again, why I like using the line tool. There's just too many here, and it takes time. I do actually have a delete key here. Maybe. Nope. That did not work. I deleted the whole line. I do have this key. There we go. So I have this, I have actually got the right click assigned to the key dial. And I think this is why I did it. I think it's just a little quicker and a little more efficient when I do need to mass delete the vector points. Just from what I'm seeing here. From what I'm seeing here, yes, this end, it's like too thick compared to the west. It needs to thicken out somewhat as you go further down. From what I'm seeing on my reference of Taco Luca, at least. I mean, I do like this image though. 2009 it's got typed on it. Or written on it, should I say. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As much as I love this character, it's very much a thing of the late 2000s. I'm very much a thing of the late 2000s, though. Go figure. I never escaped the 2000s. Yeah, I mean, it really does bewilder me, though. Why this character, I like it so much, so how hasn't it got basically any attention or anything made of it after 2009-ish, 2010 maybe? It's like an officially recognised character as well. I think it came out of the character item wars, because I think everyone was like fighting over what Megarine Luca's character item would be, and then Taco Luca came along. You know, I just love it as like being a little Megarine Luca as well. I think people have actually, when the people have made songs, I think they've used like the Luca voice bank, but they've just made it really high pitched. I mean, that looks a little better. It's still going to need work, but still. Now I feel like this needs to like chunk out around this area. Just to give the impression that, you know, it's going back to the start. Because things typically don't narrow in out as we get smaller, if that makes any kind of sense. Kind of very jolty lines, for lack of a better word. They're not like smooth. I think it might be fairly easy to fix though. Just bring that out a bit. That should give it a little better flow. Yeah, it's not quite as bad now. And yes, so here's the fish. I did actually originally have that, and now it's just a mess, but I did have that originally, as was a reference image for it. And then Surströmming came along, so, you know, go figure. It's got to be the Surströmming. It's got to be the Surströmming, knowing what this character is. So I've been streaming for 50 minutes now, apparently, but I don't know. Is it 50 minutes? It might be longer because it did go down for a short while. We have not got any drop frames since the stream kind of came back up, so I can say that's going. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It could even be my graphics card, like, being fine 95% of the time, and then occasionally, like, I do a complicated vector line or something, and the GPU just has enough. The CPU, it's an 8th Gen i7, I think I mentioned before, so it's obviously not the newest thing in the world if you know anything about computers, but it's not the oldest either. Well, in a way it is. It's the oldest CPU to officially work with Windows 11. I guess I looked out there because, as I say, I got a good deal on it, and much to my surprise, when they announced it, it's like you can run Windows 11 on far older machines, technically, but that brings up the other issue, because Windows 11, although it will run on much older systems, I could run it on a Core 2 Duo and it would just be fine. Microsoft is being really odd about it. They're like, with the security measures and stuff, they're like, oh, we're not letting you run it on your Core 2 Duo because that machine is 10 years older than we would like it to be. But just being an older machine should not stop it running Windows 11. Okay, so I'm just slightly lost here. I'm gonna split it at this point because it's such a twisted line. I don't really know where to end it. There we go. Something feels Gran Turismo 6 about this. No, it's 5. For some reason, I think it's just because I remember 6 better, because I just really loved playing that game, and, you know. It says 52 minutes there as well. So I don't know, maybe it broke the stream into 2. If I'll just check. I'll go right back on here and see. I don't know. I think it is genuinely like 52. It's kind of hard to decipher, but I think I am on 52 minutes. I think that's accurate. It ties in actually with the time now. Now it looks 1:48 here. It was just under an hour ago I started streaming, so that's something. Ooh, I like that. Like, I didn't think of this at first, but that actually falls in place to hold the headphones, and I mean, why not? Yeah, the more I think about it, there is a lot of arms to pose here. I have enough trouble posing arms as it stands, and you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to go with a character that basically has 8 arms. What could possibly go wrong? So there, we can split this. Even if I need to, like, stretch these out and stuff, I should have no problem doing that. So, I guess I'm going to need this to, like, fade up. Not fade up, like, to just bend upwards. Now, how do I go about this? Do I have this, like, in front? Thus, I'm obviously going to pay less attention to this particular vector line set up here because I don't need to. You see, so if I have that kind of go through this gap here, and then that would, this would fall like right to the back. I think I can get this working. I'm obviously going to need a slightly more natural curve with that, but I'm also going to need to get this actually legitimately working. Although I don't know, so... Now, I could get the key dial to help me fix this, and I probably will. Because there's just too many points. So we're going to go, right click. Oh, no, we need the... No, not the delete key. I'm just getting confused. I believe, though, we are doing well compared to last time. My Logitech mouse hasn't just randomly stopped working, and then I've not had to switch to, like, this thing, this Lenovo mouse, because apparently all my mouses are from manufacturers beginning with L. I'm not sure. I have a quad-core Xeon. I don't know if that's an L series as well. Because I'm just thinking that would be kind of comical if one of my CPUs was also an L. I don't know if there were any chips starting with L, actually. There's Celeron, there's Pentium, there's Core 2 Duo. I mean, from the lineup, the L series is Xeon, though. It's not like the L series is a brand or a... Yeah, it's not like the L series is a brand. I mean, there could be like a series of industrial chipsets or anything where it's literally called like L... I don't know. Now I'm thinking there's L200. Mitsubishi L200, that's a pickup truck. Why that came to mind, probably because I'm thinking of that letter. So yeah, there's a pickup truck. I'm not sure if there's a CPU, but there's definitely an L pickup truck. There's Lexus as well if you're looking for a brand that starts with L. Which I believe means Luxury Export US, if I'm not incorrect. I know a lot of stuff that should have no feasible use in the real world. Like, why do I need to know the actual meaning of Lexus? I did want to own a Lexus, but the road tax is just absurd on there. Mine is like £190 on the Citroen, and Lexus you're looking at probably £350 plus now for that V8 Lexus, as much as I would love the thing. Now, looking at that kind of money, I do like the C5. The C5 has hydraulics. The only issue is, I can't replace that with a new Citroen. There's just nothing that does what that car does. It's got a few unique features and stuff. The steering wheel, like how the middle of the steering wheel stays still. It sounds dumb, but it actually makes sense when you think the controls stay in the same place. You see, it's like that car, it feels like it was a car made by engineers, not designers or marketers. It feels like the engineers were the first people that had their way with it. This looks like it's got anti-aliasing. No, it hasn't. Maybe I just smoothed out the line a lot with the vector points. These headphones are kind of tight now. Try adjusting the headband thingy me bobber. That feels a little better now. These are not the best headphones. Like, I feel sure if you have a really nice audio setup, the audio will be nicer. Like, I've got a decent audio signal and stuff, but it's like, this is the world's longest audio cable, and it just plugs straight into these because they're slightly odd headphones in that they just have a standard 3.5mm port on them. So any what do you call it, 3.5mm audio cable at all will fit, which is ideal in this case because the thing isn't gonna like try and pull me right into the desk like that. It's just not going to do that. It's going to function as I would hope. And I mean, sometimes functionality is king. As much as I love my crazy speaker setup on this machine, you think I'm going to play this music through there and then mess up the entire stream quality after I just put all the effort of like fixing the audio, because before it would like feed audio through the output device that was coming in through the microphone. It was like monitor but don't play, I think, on a OBS. I figured, hey, that's not going to play the audio. It did play the audio. It was strange, but I seriously thought there was just something messed up with this PC because I mostly built it myself, and I didn't think it may just be OBS. The only thing I realised was when OBS was closed, it wasn't doing it, but there was no distinct answer online that I could find that said it was definitely going to be, that setting was a bit balked. There we go. I'm not going to say I like this in its entirety, but I think I can get somewhere with little effort. I think it's just, looking at this, as I say, it's not like an artificial angle, so it's going to have to flow a little as we go into the little arm, let's say. The happy little trees aren't so happy after all. I don't know. My mind goes places. I recognise this. I'm going to say Gran Turismo 5. It's 6. Ah, no. Why do I always end up saying the songs from Gran Turismo 5 are from Gran Turismo 6 and the ones from Gran Turismo 6 are from Gran Turismo 5? As I say, I think I played a bit more 6 than I did 5, so I played a lot of 6. And yes, indeed. Why would it be that I would completely mislabel the songs, though? Like, one being from one game and it being from the other. I mean, there was actually this course they added in an update to Gran Turismo 6, and it was just this amazing thing to race around. Like, I think it was this Italian coast they'd built a track on, or something along those lines, and it was like basically a Nürburgring, but on the, I think it was Italian coast, maybe French coast, I don't know. I think it was Italian. It was just such a nice thing to race around. I remember like getting this front-wheel drive Hyundai from the 1990s. That thing handled far better than it had any right to. Remember, Hyundais in the 90s, they were literally the cheap option. They were not the cars that you would like ever dream about owning. And yet that thing, it was just, it wasn't destroying everything, but oh man, that was just so much fun to drive. I had the wheel as well, the Driving Force GT, which I have a better wheel now, should I want to use it, but that was, for the time, that was just good. I was younger and, you know, I couldn't afford as much a good wheel as I could now. It was actually a used wheel in the first place. We're talking different times. I may have even been using a Core 2 Duo in my primary desktop then. The E7400. I mean, again, that PC I got pretty cheap. It was a good processor for what it was. I mean, I did my research, found, hey, of all the cheaper used PCs I can get, that's actually a pretty good CPU. And as I say, even today, that could technically run Windows 11. Because I could upgrade the board it came with to 8 gigs of RAM and an SSD. And it would be able to run Windows 11 for not that much financial outlay, but they had to make the requirements just ridiculous. There's still nothing wrong with the majority of Core 2 Duo machines out there. Now, the E7400 had 3 megabytes of cache, not 4. I don't think it really hurt it that much in the grand scheme of things. With a 775 chip, you want cache. Like, if you cut it down to, say, half a megabyte, you notice, but that's what some of the Celeron's had. But I think, as long as you're not going below 2 megabytes, of cache, it's fine. They have no level 3 cache though, so that's another thing. They have level 2 cache, but unlike certain newer chips, I mean, maybe newer chips even have level 4 cache, I really don't know. I just don't know that much about newer chips. This 8th gen, it's like, it's a case of this is still kind of like a spaceship to me. Same as my car is like 11 years old, it still feels like a spaceship. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is basically an octopus, this character. So 8 like arms in total. However, 6 is fine because 6 is so because you can like assume there's another 2 hidden behind the head. It's not that much of a stretch to like believe that. So again, I'm just finding all these bits here of line. It's actually easier than trying to redraw them though, to just dig up my past mistakes. That's why I don't like deleting stuff. You never know when it might be useful. It's like the line art on Sakura. I actually used that again because I was adding some eyelashes and stuff, and to get the transparency right behind the hair, I had to like chop up bits of the eyes from the older line art though. That's why I don't just like having the single layer. I just like having a backup in a way, I guess you could say, without having to dig up the older version of the image, which has likely been overwritten anyway. Because I do typically save to 3 SSD, or 3 hard drives. No, 3 SSDs and 1 750 hard drive. Had that 750 hard drive since literally the days of Gran Turismo 6. It's found its way like in various PCs, and it's ultimately ended up here because the speed and the size, it just falls into place. The that drive is 7200 RPM and 2.5 inches, so you know, I chose that at the time. SSDs were actually pretty expensive, and there were solid state hybrid drives, but they were still 5400 RPM, even with like even with how it's supposed to learn your habits and stuff of how you do stuff on it, so it's faster. But it's only faster for certain things. I chose the 7200 RPM because not only did it have a lot of storage at the time, 7200 RPM and 750 gigs. It's not even bad today, if I'm entirely honest. Obviously, it's going to be beaten by an SSD, but it's not awful. So I feel like this just needs to curve around something like this. Because the idea I'm going with is that this is behind. Like, this is not at the front. This is going to the back, but you just kind of see the angle of it. I know, like, some people can draw this stuff in nowhere near the amount of time I take, but I guess you could say, in my defense, what you'd say is this is basically rendered. Like, this doesn't look like it's been drawn so much, and that's what I'm going with. I'm trying to make it look almost like no, not CGI. I mean CGI, you know, don't want to tighten with AI and stuff. That would never make line art this clean. But the Studio Ghibli stuff, that proves to me they don't have the same level of emotion to them, but it proves that they do steal styles and they can recreate stuff like movie frames frame for frame. Why? Because they fed them precisely that information. That's why I only want my book in actual print, and I don't want to sell it as a ebook, because let's be honest, these people are kind of lazy. They're not going to outwardly tell you that, but even the people making these systems, it feels like they're paid to do a certain amount of time, if that makes sense. And like scanning all printed books in all of history, they're not going to bother to do that. They're just going to go and find stuff online that's like actually available publicly on the internet, and they're gonna just take that, because I guess it's not entirely traceable. I mean, I'm sure there's measures of tracing them, but I believe they'll have a few measures to cover their tracks. But my point is, when it comes to like manually scanning books, well, okay, I don't know what the exact term is, but kind of debind them. Because, you know, a book is bound if I can find a measurement of it. I don't know. Don't think I have a book to hand. But, yeah. I know I'll use a floppy disk, because I do literally have a floppy disk on my desk. I also hit the camera for fun. So we have the book like this, and then let's suppose this metal piece is the binding where it opens around. What you'd have to do, you'd have to like remove that. So you'd have to like skim the side of the book, debind it, and then find the page with the image you want on, then scan it, then scan it somehow, especially if it's glossy paper, without getting reflections, and then you would have to feed it to your system. Okay, I get that much. Maybe they would do it once or twice, but you would have to do it so many times to actually get a usable amount of data. And I mean, that's what I mean about lazy. It's like, sure, making an algorithm to just scrape a bunch of information off the internet is one thing, but when you've got all these complicated measures to get the images, like, that's what it's going to come down to. You just wouldn't bother. And that's the thing. That's why I want it published in print, because then I don't have to put all this protection on it. It really just messes with the overall quality of images, quality which I take very seriously, actually. And you can just literally work with it as it is. Now I don't have anything to speak of. I don't know if it's... I don't recognise this too well. I'm guessing Gran Turismo 3. Gran Turismo Sport. Yeah, I didn't play so much Sport. That's my excuse, and that's the one I'm sticking to. You know, it's just a fun little game I have with myself. Let's see how much I can do it. Again, these headphones are not doing me well. Try loosening them a little more. There's only so much I can loosen them. I don't want to hurt my ears. Good thing they're not on my ears. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy actually. That Gran Turismo Sport song, that was actually quite a change of pace though from the others. The others are like all very chill. That one was not as much chill. And then we go back to this, like, this is going to be Gran Turismo 6 or something. Gran Turismo 5. At this point, it's just comical how much I get 5 and 6 confused. Like, I always say the 5... It always seems like I'd say the 5 songs are 6 songs and the 6 songs are 5 songs. I think I know what to do here. It's just not exactly the easiest thingy to do. Yes. I feel like that goes out too much. But I do have an idea. Maybe if I pivot that. Okay, so I'm not so sure that's ideal. I mean, I might just have it where, like, if I redo all this and it's going to work perfectly, but not redo it, if I, like, trim this all down. So I've got about 15 minutes left of the stream, because I do aim for an hour and a half. I'm feeling good about where I've taken this, so, like, obviously, if you look at the start of a stream and the end, it won't make much difference, but I can see there's just been smaller improvements. Like, holding the headphone would probably be the most obvious one. It just works. Some things cannot be explained. I do feel maybe I should move the hair angle in a bit because reasons. On this, it's like, well, to be fair, she's facing the other way, but yes, I do feel like I can change that for the better. Ooh, the eyes. Fight the eyes. Find me and follow me through corridors with factories. These eyes, they must follow me. This academic factory. Now I've got that in my head. Well, find me in the matinee. Dark of the matinee is better in the matinee. The dark of the matinee is where it is where. Yeah, my cringe singing. It's like normal singing, but just with extra cringe. I would say to rotate this character, but I don't know. Like, rotating it at this point would be kind of tricky. Something just looks off about how this line sits, so... I feel like for the most part I've actually done a decent job of it, but it's just here. I mean, maybe if I used the mirror, I would not have this issue, but... Now this is Gran Turismo 4. Don't tell me it's not Gran Turismo 4. I can just feel it's Gran Turismo 4. Yes, it is. I was right for once. I mean, seriously, I feel like I played more Gran Turismo than I actually did better at it than in my exams. And now, you know what? I feel like I would have failed at a Gran Turismo exam even. I am just a failure. I'm a failure and I'm proud. So, here we go. Like, the thing is, I'm just trying to give it a bit more natural flow because I can't really change the entire image now. But I can somewhat make it look a little better. I feel like maybe... I feel like I could kind of slightly tilt the body. I can't do anything major, but there is no shading or anything. So, you know, I'm not going to be massively off or anything if I do slightly change it. I'd like it to be like slightly angled to the left, and I think I can do that without majorly changing the angles. It's just I really don't care that's making me care. Because that text can be kind of tricky. I feel like this does need to just join, like... I feel like if I join this, just go with a slightly more gradual angle. And fade that in. I don't know how this is going to look. It'll probably look a little rough at first because of how, yeah. Okay. I'm seeing it now. Like, I'm seeing the image. I'm obviously going to slightly need to move the text over. But there's ways of selecting multiple vector lines. I think I'll probably even do that just before I end the stream. I think I have time for that. You know, it's like my process is kind of chaotic and all over the place. I'm fine with that, though. It's just sometimes I work on what I want to work on. So I felt like not working on the eyes today. I've not worked on the eyes. I will go back to the eyes, but it can be a very complex process. And I also just want the overall line art to work on both characters. This sounds like Gran Turismo 7. Because I've been playing that recently. It's not going to be Gran Turismo 7, is it? Gran Turismo 5. I feel sure they must have reused the same tune, though, because... I feel sure that must have been what went on, because it does sound exactly the same as one that's in Gran Turismo 7. I mean, either that, or they changed it. But they changed it so little I can't really notice on these headphones. Actually, why didn't I think of that earlier? I can just blame the headphones for my inability to effectively do it. Okay, so from what I'm seeing here, yes, I do need to, like, to make it work, I need the overall line here to just be a little softer. I mean, I don't understand that much about anatomy, but I understand a little, and I understand this stuff should be a little smaller on this side in order to give it the idea it's like turned to that side. So yeah, I'm not going to make them massive. I feel like I've already gone too far. This character was not angled. I think I might have actually been trying to when I was on the Samsung tablet, but I had no idea whatsoever about how to do anatomy there. The good thing about using these vector lines, I can actually work it this way, and just, if it doesn't work, I can move the vector lines a few points and a few points over, so that can work. I also feel like maybe if I go, and you know, maybe if I just make this less of a slope, but still kind of a slope. There we go. There is still purple there, but I feel I'm getting to a place with this. Yeah, I can't think too much while talking. My mind is going into single task mode. It shouldn't be, but it is. Usually I have no problems accessing 3 different sources of information at once. But I am having problems accessing 3 sources of information at once. Yeah, I also have this habit of making things more complicated than they need to be. The thing about this, it's like the character's always had a fairly simple outfit, but it works. I mean, she's not meant to be a really fashionable character or anything. It's just something that, like, works with her as a character. Right, so that's not ideal. I feel like the angle here, it's just not quite right. Like, I feel it needs to be pivoted earlier up, so to speak. Like, I mean, I kind of want a similar curve to it, but just, it's going to have to somewhat go lower. I can just feel that's how it fits overall. Again, small movements, baby steps to actually get this done. Okay, I'm onto something. Like, see, just as I say, small steps to make a bigger result overall. So this is going to go out later down. That's just how I think it's going to work. This sounds like Gran Turismo 7. Again, I think Gran Turismo 7, I don't know, for a nostalgia factor or whatever, we may have reused older songs. You know, my mind wants to say Gran Turismo 7 because I'm pretty sure they used it there, but I'm going to say Gran Turismo 5 on this one. Yes, it is. I was for once in my life correct. It is Gran Turismo 5. It just, you know, it gives me the vibe of 5, but I'm pretty sure they used this at some place in 7. And now my feet move. I don't know if it's ADHD. I am enjoying the music at this point. There's going to have to be more work here, so... Oh, now we're almost at 1.5 hours. Right, so I'm going to need to find the colour. Don't want to mess with the background colour. Can't even see the background colour. Okay, so we've got 5 here. Wow, I have to make the eraser large. The point is I'm making though, like, I can't really tell where it is because it's this, like, purple pink. I thought it was pink, but it actually did turn out to be more purple now I look at it again. The text is pink, but I don't hate it. The purple works, as I say. It's not supposed to be like an ultra fashionable character or anything. It's just her, you know. It's just Agnatha. Totally not a fake identity or anything. I mean, I'm seeing it, like, I don't want to just drag this in all at once though and kind of mess up the body shape and just not make sense of it all at all. I'm going to have to also change the arm. That's fine. Like, I get it, that arm hangs out far too much to the right as it stands. Just the arms in general are kind of messed up, but I'm fine with it. Like, I have the adjustability. I built that in with the vector lines. There we go, so... I feel like this actually needs to bend around. Is that actually the same colour? No, I thought that looked green. That line is the same colour. My vision must be playing tricks on me. I'm trying to focus. But I have to talk. Because if I don't talk, the video will be boring. The stream will be very boring. I do not want to be a boring person, even though I am boring. I'm going to pretend I'm not boring. Just let me imagine. Let me try and fulfill my dream of not being boring. Yeah, I can kind of see the rotation here. For now, though, I ain't gonna try too hard because I'm finally using the pen, and I'm using it on the wrong layer. Sure, I'm somewhere though, like this. I feel I've got a fairly nice angle to it, but the arm just sticking out as it does is not quite working so well in my favour. But I can see there's like a particular turn to the character. Yeah, I quite like that. I mean, I'm going to have to play with this text and everything, but I feel for now. It's not quite 1 hour 30 though. I want to deliver on my promise. You know what? Sure. I'm going to try this. So where's the final character line art? I'm going to use a shift key on my key dial and not do that. I need the selection tool. Ah, that's how we do it. Basically, as long as you're holding shift when you select the lines, it will select multiple lines. At least in Clip Studio. I don't know about other softwares. I've been using this for so long. This isn't even the latest version of Clip Studio. It's like 1.14, I believe. But it is offline. So yes, indeed. This software predates this whole AI malarkey. It's truly a fascinating thing. Another thing I found, actually, just researching random stuff, Clip Studio Paint actually came about at the time Adobe was going subscription. Like, I know there was Manga Studio before that. That was basically what CSP was, but I think they changed it. I think they added some stuff all into one package, and then they called it Clip Studio Paint. And at that point, you know, it was about the time Adobe was going subscription, which I think, honestly, played in their advantage, because you've got this one company that people did like the product of, but not everyone will have wanted to pay a subscription. And if their software worked, if Clip Studio worked, there was an immediate alternative. So, there we go. I'm not going to save, or I'm going to save it, actually. I was going to say not yet. This doesn't take ages to save, because as much as I've done stuff, it's not got all of the layers Sakura has on Sakura. It doesn't even have a background yet, go figure. That takes up like 4.5 gigabytes or something ridiculous. 4.5 gigabytes though on a working file, not even a finished thing. Not going to fit that on a floppy drive, you barely fit on a DVD. So we've got character colour. I think I'll finish off this way. So we've got final character colour. I haven't checked the time, it's probably 1 hour 30. I'm going to use the pen for one time now. Just trying to get like the overall concept here, that the text is what the text is. I mean, I will slightly change the overall shape if I need to of the text. I don't want to do too much, but I mean, this stuff, like, I'm just trying to make the character look decent. I'm like, wait, why is that just cutting straight through? Oh, because the A isn't actually there. The inside will be coloured pink, so I don't have to worry about capturing that. I just have to capture the exterior of the letters. And then this will be where I finish off for today. So, you know, at least I've done something on the main character and not just spent all the time on Taco Agnatha. I mean, as I say, I don't know exactly how I'm going to tweak this, but they are vector lines. So that's definitely going to help me. Yeah, so it kind of looks okay. I think I still need to adjust that line a little. And probably the shoulders, if I'm entirely honest. But you get the idea, like, it's working. I do think the shoulders are probably the next thing to adjust, though, because that line on the right of where I'm colouring now is mostly okay. And just giving this character some angle gives it a bit more life, I feel, than trying to... I can actually make this pen bigger. But I think, personally, I think it gives it a bit more life than just trying to... Should have done this sooner, making this pen large. Than just trying to do like a flat front on angle. There's reasons to do that, but just in wanting this to look good, you know, I feel this is the way to go. So there we go. 1 hour 34. I think that's a decent